there'd be an injury angle, and then I would be taken out of the ring on a backboard, by EMTs. So that was always put into place. But the reality was, he did drop me right on my head. Ironically, Stone Cold Steve Austin called me up, I'll say somewhere in the last 12 months ago. He called me up out of the blue on my cell phone, and he goes, Dan, it was Stone Cold Steve Austin here. He said, I know that we didn't talk much when we were both working for Vince. And he said, you had your thing to do, I had my thing to do. He said, a friend of mine just showed me a video just recently. And he goes, I had to give you a phone call. He said, Owen Hart, he basically said Owen Hart fucked up. He goes, he literally dropped you on your head. He should not have sit down on his butt. He should drop down to his knees. And I go, yeah, he did. He did incorrectly. He goes, are you okay? I go, I come up with a little comical line. I go, mentally or physically? And he got kind of a kick out of one line. I said, honestly, Steve, I hit the top of my head, and I had a bolt of lightning run down my spine and run down my leg. I said, it was all part of the angle. As I laid there, I didn't try to bring any attention to myself, but as I laid there, I'm making certain that my hands are still moving, and that I could still move my toes. And even at one point, because I think, I don't know if Owen realized at that point in time that he screwed up or he hurt me, and he knelt down because he's still trying to keep in match performance mode. So he kind of whispers, he goes, he reaches out, grabs my hand, he goes, if you're okay, squeeze my hand. I did not squeeze his hand. And the match went on to do is like, okay, paramedics are called in, I'm taken off on the backboard, neck brace, backboard. They carry me back. As soon as they get me back past the curtain, I get off the backboard. And that's when Owen Hart comes up to me, and he's like, question me. He goes, why did you squeeze my hand? But that's when I basically went after Owen. I mean, not that I was going to beat him up right then and there, but I went after him. I'm thumping him on the chest, the old thumping here. And I go, why did you drop me on my head for real? I said, you are a trained professional. I go, you're Owen Hart. I go, you're part of the Hart legacy. I said, if anyone should know how to do something correctly, you and the lineage that you came with it. I was livid. And I go, if I should ever have you in the ring again, I said, I will not take care of you whatsoever. I was pissed because literally I know I dodged the bullet. It was sad to see what happened, to what was Owen's demise.
Now, this is a very interesting topic. Cause I'm sorry, man, I've never been a fan of Owen Hart. Ever since what he did to Stone Cold Steve Austin and learning what he did before the match started, and learning more and more about what happened up to that tombstone. It's like these marks, you act like Owen Hart is a god or he's Jesus. Look, man, I don't care if he's dead. I just don't. Because just because you're dead, that don't mean you can't avoid smoke. That don't mean you get a hall pass, man. We gotta call spade a spade. We can't treat wrestling like, oh, I'm biased towards this guy, so he's fine. He walks on water. No, man, fuck you. You marks keep saying Goldberg ruined the career of Bret Hart. You keep on drilling that in our heads 20-something years later. Okay, let's keep that same energy for Owen Hart 20-some years later, right? You got CM Punk saying, oh man, Bret Hart should be making money in Saudi, right? He should be making that Goldberg money, right? You're basically insinuating that, yeah, Goldberg ruined Bret's money. Your ass got Bret Hart saying Goldberg owes me money. At least give me a check. At least give me half your money. Huh? Okay, let's keep that same energy, right? Goldberg supposedly ruined the career of Bret Hart, even though he was in his goddamn 40s and he was on his way out the door any damn way. But let's just ignore that. So Goldberg accidentally kicks him in his head, but even Goldberg's trainer said, "Bruh, Bret, why didn't you put your hands up? I mean, aren't you a worker? Didn't your dad teach you to put your hands in the air? If you know a guy that's almost 300 pounds about to kick you dead in your face, whose fault was that? Not Goldberg's fault. Put your hands over your face." It's like, people need to study how Bret Hart took Shawn Michaels' super kick. Pay attention on how the way Bret Hart sold Shawn Michaels' super kick. That shit looked stiff because Bret Hart never really put his hands up. Okay, so whose fault is that? Go look how the way Shawn Michaels super kicks Bret Hart all the time back in the day. That shit looked pretty damn stiff because Bret Hart never really put his hands up like that. Okay, so you finally got taught a goddamn lesson by Goldberg, bro. Put your hands in the air. I'm sorry, that was not Goldberg's fault, but let's get back on Goldberg. How come he gets all the damn smoke for what he did to Bret Hart, but not Owen Hart? Make that make sense. Seriously, make that make sense for me, because I don't know. Okay, who changed the business forever? Because let's say Bret Hart didn't get that kick from Goldberg. You think Bret Hart would have changed the landscape of pro wrestling for the next decade? Like Stone Cold? Hell no. Owen Hart, he killed the WWE for a decade. Are you serious? It's not close. He ruined the career of Stone Cold Steve Austin. Why is there a tournament named after this guy? The Owen Hart Cup Classic? Are you serious? For doing what? I'm sorry, bro. Look, Owen Hart, look, he was talented, but let's not get twisted. He was a mid-card guy. If anything, shouldn't there be a Brian Pillman tournament? I mean, his son is wrestling there, right? Pillman had a lot more left to go, but he died early. I feel like we should be honoring him over Owen Hart. It's like what happened to Brian Pillman was truly sad. Now let's get back on Hart. People always say, "Oh, Vince Russo killed Owen Hart." It's like, since when does Owen Hart get this hall pass for being this great person? Let's get back on Dan Severn. YouTube it, because that's what I did. I YouTube today. Dan Severn did not like Owen Hart. In fact, he wanted to kick his ass too, because Dan Severn did not want him to do that sit-out tombstone pile driver. But yet, Owen Hart still did it. Do you see a pattern? So no, don't tell me some bullshit like, "Oh, it was an accident. That could happen to anybody." Okay, well, that happened to fucking Dan Severn, bitch. Keep that same energy. Stop saying that. "Oh, that could happen to anybody." You didn't say that about Nia Jax. See, I'm starting to think that you people hate Nia Jax because she ain't white. Maybe because Nia Jax is a person of color. D'Lo Brown, a person of color. For some reason, people still haunt D'Lo Brown still to this day for what he did to draws. People always rag on D'Lo for what he did to draws, but not Owen Hart though. right? What happened to Jaws, by your logic, that could have happened to anybody, right? Huh? Dude, Owen Hart killed the WWE, man. I'm sorry. Like, when people say, oh, Stone Cold is not the GOAT, he is not the greatest of all time because his run as a top guy didn't last long. Okay, you see where I'm going with this? Whose fault was that? Let me say it again. Whose fault was that? That Stone Cold had a short career. Whose fault was that? Everything was going fine until that tombstone, right? Everything was going fine until that tombstone. Pile driver. Stone Cold could have broken the record for the most main events in WrestleMania history. He could have. He could have held the record. He could have main evented more WrestleMania than fucking Hulk Hogan. But it didn't happen because of that goddamn neck. And dude, didn't Owen Hart have a shirt that says 316? I just fucking broke your neck. So this guy gave no fucks. Let me say that again because you don't hear me. Owen Hart wore a shirt that said 316, I just broke your neck. Are you serious? So Owen Hart gets a hall pass for basically bragging that he broke the neck of Stone Cold Steve Austin, the company cash cow, the biggest draw of all time, dude. That ruined the WWE. They were trying to find the next guy, right? That could have been Stone Cold, but they were trying to find the next guy right after that neck. In terms of The Rock was trying to go to Hollywood. So it was a point where they were running out of stars back then. Seriously, they were running out of stars. Was it Chris Benoit? Was it Triple H? Was it going to be Chris Jericho, Kurt Angle? Who was going to be the company's next guy? Because The Rock was going to Hollywood. Stone Cold, he couldn't go full time anymore because of that neck. The doctor told him he had a short career. He had 5 years left as a wrestler. And then eventually, he would have to retire. Dude, he retired at an early age. For a wrestler of that magnitude, he retired pretty early. Because of that neck. Austin couldn't really recover from that neck like that. Because of Owen Hart. So what's the difference, man? You crying because Bret Hart, oh, he could have wrestled a couple of more years if it wasn't for Goldberg. All right, bitch. How come you ain't saying that about Owen Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin? Stone Cold was a bigger star than Bret ever was. I'm still mad, still to this day. We can't get John Cena versus Stone Cold. We couldn't get we couldn't get Stone Cold versus CM Punk, right? We couldn't get Stone Cold versus CM Punk. We couldn't get Stone Cold versus Brock Lesnar, right? We couldn't get Stone Cold versus Randy Orton. We couldn't get Stone Cold versus Scott Steiner, Mark Henry. Who else? We couldn't get Stone Cold versus Batista. We couldn't get Stone Cold versus Edge. You see where I'm going with this? But most importantly, we couldn't get Stone Cold versus Hulk Hogan. And I'm going to say it again. We couldn't get Stone Cold versus John Cena. If it wasn't for Owen Hart, we would have gotten those matches. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't have never been Stone Cold's last match at WrestleMania versus The Rock. It wouldn't have gone to that point. Stone Cold loved pro wrestling. Stone Cold could have been wrestling until he was like 50. Because he had a style that could last for 20 years. Stone Cold could have been a full-time guy for the next 20 years. Most likely, Stone Cold would have been wrestling until maybe 2012, 2013. He would have still been wrestling, man. Let that sink in. We could have gotten Stone Cold and The Miz. All these dream matches that we missed out on. Stone Cold and Bobby Lashley. All these matches that we missed out on because of Owen Hart fucked up his neck. But here you are crying over Bret Hart, who was on his way out the business any damn way. Where was he going? No, yeah. Where was Bret Hart going? Let this sink in, because nobody really understands me. Where was Bret going? Remember when WCW went out of business? Okay. Where was he going? He sure as hell was going back to his old company, so where the fuck was he gonna go? He would have been retired any damn way. There is no way in hell Bret Hart would have gone back to the WWE after WCW folded. There was no way in hell. So he would have retired or went overseas. So what are you crying about? Stop saying Bret Hart career ended early. He was fucking 44 years old. He was old. Bret was old, man. He had nothing left to give when it comes to being a damn draw. His best years was with Vince. And he capped out. He had a ceiling. There was no more juice left. So stop saying Goldberg ruined the career of Bret Hart early. No, he did not. He was on his way out the door. He was 40-some years old any damn way. And once again, WCW went out of business. Where was Bret gonna go to continue wrestling at a high level? Where? Still to this day, has he ever made an appearance in TNA? In any role, have we ever saw Bret Hart in TNA? Maybe I'm wrong, because I'm not a huge fan of TNA. I mean, I'm a casual TNA guy. I'm casual, so I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe look, somebody correct me. I've never seen Bret Hart make an appearance in TNA. So, where is this notion that Bret Hart would have continued to wrestle if it was for Bill Goldberg? If WCW went out of business, he wasn't going back to the E. He wasn't going back to work for fucking Vince. Especially in fucking 02, 01. Hell no. He was still pissed off that damn Montreal screw job. You see what I'm saying? So the point I'm trying to make is, how come Goldberg gets smoked, but Owen Hart don't? Owen Hart, dude, nobody liked that tombstone. Nobody liked it. Dead Severin wanted to whoop his ass. And still to this day, Stone Cold really does not look at Owen Hart the same like we do. Do you know why? Can you take a wild guess why? Still to this day, Steve Austin always says he never really looked at Owen Hart the same. Based on Owen Hart being careless after the fact. Steve Austin felt like Owen Hart gave zero fucks because I heard Owen Hart didn't say sorry. That's what pissed off Steve. Owen Hart didn't apologize. Hold on, no. Goldberg has apologized to Bret Hart multiple times, and yet Bret Hart still crying over this man. Bret Hart still crying over that kick 20-some years later. Okay, let's keep that same energy for Owen Hart 20-some years later. But I don't see Stone Cold crying on a podcast. I don't see Stone Cold crying, woe was me. If it was for Owen Hart, I would still be wrestling. No, that's Bret Hart. That ain't Stone Cold, but there's a reason why Stone Cold rarely talks about Owen Hart. Rarely. He never talks about him. And that's for a reason. Still to this day, he hasn't really forgave Owen Hart. Even though he's dead, Steve still does not look at him the same way. How can you blame him? I don't. Dude, just look, man. I was never a fan of Owen Hart, man. Ever since that Tombstone, I don't fuck with him. So why are we honoring him for a tournament in AW? For doing what? Being a damn mid-card guy? So that's what we're doing now. We are honoring mid-card guys now. Hell, how about we do the fucking Doink the Clown tournament? How about we do a tournament honoring Yokozuna? How about we do a tournament honoring Gangrel? That's what we're doing now, where we are honoring fucking mid-card guys who were never world champions. Is that what we're doing now? Why should we glorify Owen Hart? Because what if he was still alive? What if he was still alive? How would we look at him? He ruined the career of Stone Cold Steve Austin, right? Years later, we are still pissed at Goldberg for some weird reason. You saying we would have forgave Owen Hart, but not Goldberg? That don't make sense. Really, that don't make sense at all. I'm pissed. Look, I can do without Bret Hart in the business after 2000, but with Stone Cold, nah, man. Owen Hart ruined the WWE, man. Though, like, it hurt me as a fan of Stone Cold. He's my favorite wrestler of all time. It hurt my soul when he was the goddamn Raw GM. It hurt my soul watching Stone Cold versus Eric Bischoff. It hurt my soul seeing fucking Batista fucking punk out Stone Cold. Cause Stone Cold couldn't really do much besides a stutter. He couldn't have long matches. It's like when he was Raw GM, he couldn't wrestle. Really. He had no matches, man. He couldn't really wrestle all that much. He was a damn... Look, the fact that we couldn't get Brock and Stone Cold, man, that hurts me, man. Whose fault is that? That's Owen Hart's fault. Once again, we gotta keep that same energy. You keep saying, oh, Nia Jax, she's a botch machine. She's this, she's that. Owen Hart was botching more than Nia Jax. But we over-glorify him because he's a Hart. Because we gotta be sympathetic because he's dead. Fuck that. No, man, fuck that, man. No, man, fuck that. That's bullshit to me. Why are we honoring him? There was a lot of guys more than Stone Cold and Dan Severn who felt like Owen Hart was kind of careless when it came to certain moves. He was very stubborn. If you told him, look, bruh, I don't want to do this tombstone, Owen Hart, he insisted on doing it anyway. Why are we looking past that? I'm not. Thank God I got a platform now. Nobody is making this kind of video. We should be making these kind of videos about Owen Hart. I'm sorry, 20-something years later, if we are still ragging on Goldberg and on Bret, we gotta keep that same energy towards Owen Hart. Owen Hart ruined the career of the greatest wrestler, the greatest draw of all time, who could have main evented 10 WrestleManias. So see, we don't know where the company would have been at if Stone Cold would have never got injured. That tombstone, it changed the landscape of the WWE for the next 20 years, man. Like, what could have been? What if Stone Cold would have wrestled in the Ruthless Aggression era? Wow, man, we could have gotten Stone Cold and Eddie fucking Guerrero. We could have gotten Stone Cold versus JBL. Like, we missed out on a lot of shit. So when you say, oh, Stone Cold wasn't a top guy for a long time, okay, bitch, whose fault was that? Not his fault. That sure as hell wasn't his fault. Whose fault was that? By your logic, whose fault is it that Bret Hart could no longer wrestle after 2000? Whose fault was that? By your logic, that was Goldberg's fault. Okay, let's use your logic with Owen Hart and Stone Cold. After 03, Stone Cold couldn't be a full-time guy anymore. He was retired, really. Okay, we gotta blame Owen Hart for that. It's like there's so much meat on the bone that we left off with Stone Cold, man. There's so many dream matches that we could have had. Right? Like, people are crying because, oh, Stone Cold's last match was against Kevin Owens. Once again, whose fault was that? Owen Hart's fault. Right? We could have gotten Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Roman fucking Reigns. You see where I'm going with this? We could have gotten Stone Cold versus Seth Rollins. We could have gotten Stone Cold versus Dean Ambrose. Man, that would have been a great match too. Based on the fact that Dean Ambrose botched his interview with Stone Cold, that would have been a great storyline. You see what I'm saying? That would have been a great match. See, all these matches that we missed out on because Stone Cold is retired. His neck could never recover. That's all Owen Hart's fault. How? How is it not? Let's say Owen Hart didn't do that tombstone. Where would Stone Cold's career be at to this day? Let this sink in. Last year, do you know who sold the most merchandise? It was Stone Cold Steve Austin. Look it up. Look it up. Go on Google and look it up. He outsold Roman Reigns. Stone Cold hasn't wrestled in decades, bro. And yet, why is he still outselling the WWE's current stars? If people haven't seen this guy wrestle within the last 50-some years, why is he outdrawing in merchandise? Still to today. So just imagine if he never retired. Stone Cold is fucking 57, and yet he is still making the WWE money on merch sales. Damn, he hasn't taken a bump in decades. So, like I said, let that sink in. Just imagine if he never stopped. We still love Austin. Those merch sales from last year tell you that we still love him. So just imagine if he never retired. Look, man, Owen Hart, he has to take the blame for that. We should not be honoring him. What is there to honor? Like, shouldn't that be a black eye on his career? Yeah, man, we want to blame Vince Russo for his death. Like, yeah, let's rag on Vince Russo. Okay, why can we ain't ragging on Owen Hart for ruining multiple careers? Because he almost ruined the career of Dan Severn and multiple other wrestlers that he did that tombstone on, who never agreed to do it in the first place. To me, that's called being a careless worker. Like people gotta realize, man, Stone Cold was paralyzed. Like, how come we're not talking about that, man? Like, he was paralyzed. He was literally paralyzed from that tombstone, and yet we give him a hall pass on Hart because he's a Hart. He was paralyzed, man. You can't defend this. You can't say, oh, it's totally two different situations, Goldberg and Owen Hart. No, it's not. It's the same exact pinpoint accuracy, same thing. What happened to Bret Hart is the same thing that happened to Stone Cold Voss. It's the same thing, same difference, same thing. And it's weird too. Both bald guys. That's funny too. Both bald guys were involved with Harts. I think that's pretty ironic. Both bald guys who look the same were involved in life-changing things with the Harts. That's funny, but still. We gotta get off Goldberg's back. Keep that same energy. Like I'm telling you, it's starting to become a black and white thing now. Because you rag on fucking D'Lo Brown for ruining draws, even though that was an accident. See what I'm saying? It's like, wow, dude, you gotta be dead to get respect. Dude, you gotta be dead to get a pass for ruining a big time star's career. Now, is that our drawing point? Yes, Owen is dead. Why does that give him a excuse for being careless when he was a wrestler? That makes no sense. That's fucking stupid. No, man, keep that same energy for fucking Owen Hart. Because even Bruce Pritchard said Stone Cold was extremely mad at Owen Hart for what he did to his career. He fucked up his money. Bruh, he fucked up Stone Cold's money, man. See, and that's one of the reasons why Stone Cold's matches were kind of average after that. Didn't you notice? See, people say, oh, Stone Cold wasn't a great wrestler. Well, yes, he was before that neck injury. Stone Cold was a great in-ring technician before that neck injury. After that neck injury, Stone Cold couldn't do certain shit. Even he said it. He had to hold back from doing certain shit in the ring. That affected all his matches after that neck injury. Whose fault was that? Owen Hart's fault. Why are we honoring this guy? Because he's dead? No, man. No. There's tons of dead wrestlers, man. Why should he be above all of them? Look, man, RP to Owen Hart, but him as a wrestler? No, man, I don't fuck with him. As a wrestler, I don't fuck with him. He was careless. He was a botch machine at times as a wrestler. And he didn't care who he hurt. See, that's the thing that I'm trying to figure out. How come you don't care that Owen Hart was hurting people and he gave zero fucks about it? That's what I'm trying to figure out. That's it. I'm done.